Am I the asshole for reporting my boss after he forced me to attend a meeting despite knowing that I was in labor? I, 28 female, have been working at my company for 5 years, and until recently, I loved my job. I was 8 months pregnant when this happened, about a month ago, so I started having contractions while at work. Since I was not due yet, I thought it was just Braxton Hicks because they weren't that intense. Just a week before that, I'd experienced Braxton Hicks and went to the hospital, but it was a false alarm. This time, I was still working when the contractions started in the morning, and I again thought it was just Braxton Hicks. I didn't want to cause a scene, so I tried to keep working. Last time I went to the hospital, my boss, John, 45 male, made sarcastic comments about me being overly dramatic and joked about how I should schedule my labor around important meetings. I have social anxiety and tend to take people's crap without pushing back, so I just took it. By noon, the contractions were getting stronger and closer together, and I knew it was real labor. I needed to go to the hospital. I informed John that I was in labor and I needed to leave. He rolled his eyes and said, quote, "Just stay for the meeting at 1 p.m. It's crucial, and we need you here." I was stunned. I reiterated that I was in active labor and needed to go to the hospital immediately. John snapped back, quote, "It's just a meeting. Sit through it, and then you can go. It's not like the baby is going to pop out right now." Feeling pressured and scared for my job, I reluctantly stayed. The meeting lasted an excruciating 2 hours. By the end of it, I was in so much pain that I could barely walk. I finally left and drove myself to the hospital, where I was admitted immediately. My husband got there 30 to 40 minutes later because he was on the other side of town. My daughter was born later that evening, thankfully healthy despite the delay. When I told my husband what had happened, he was furious and insisted we report John to HR. I was hesitant because I didn't want to jeopardize my job, but I agreed it was the right thing to do. HR was appalled and assured me that they would handle the situation. John has since been suspended pending an investigation. The real kicker? During the investigation, it came out that John had emailed the entire office while I was in labor, complaining about my, quote, lack of commitment and making fun of me for overreacting.
Oh, no.
He even implied that I was using my pregnancy as an excuse to get out of work. Now my coworkers are pissed at me, saying I overreacted and that I should have just sucked it up for the sake of the company. I've even received messages and emails from a few colleagues saying that I've ruined John's career and that he was just doing his job under pressure. One even said that I should have toughed it out like their wife did during her pregnancy. The stress from this whole ordeal has made it difficult to enjoy my first few days with my newborn. I'm constantly second-guessing myself and feeling guilty, despite knowing I did what was best for my baby and me. To make matters worse, the interim manager who took over from John is even worse. He's made it clear to everyone that he resents my actions and has made my return to work unbearable. Now that my maternity leave is over, I find myself isolated at work. People give me side eyes and whisper about me. During lunch, I'm alone because no one wants to sit with the troublemaker. Feels like high school all over again.
See, that was his high school?
I dread going back into work each day and facing the hostility and judgment. I never imagined that doing what was right for my health and my baby's well-being would turn my colleagues against me like this. It's gut-wrenching to feel so isolated and vilified for simply standing up for myself and my rights. I cry most of the time when I come home, and sometimes even in the office washroom when someone passes and says a comment. In the worst moments, I get mad at my husband and blame him for making me tell HR, even though I know he did the right thing. He's so sweet and never takes it to heart. I apologize soon after, but he always says he wasn't even mad and that he understands how I'm feeling, especially since I'm just 1 month postpartum. He says I should take action and complain, but I don't want to make things even worse. He also says he can't see me like this and that I should just quit because it's hurting him. I don't know what to do. I'm just such a sensitive and emotional person in general, and now it's been worse since giving birth. So, am I the asshole for reporting my boss after he forced me to attend a meeting despite knowing I was in labor?
Am I the astronaut for not inviting my fiance's ex to our wedding? I, female 26, have been with Henry, male 36, almost 37, for 5 years. We are engaged and currently planning our wedding. A little background, Henry is the youngest child and his mother really wanted a girl. Because of this, Henry grew up feeling despised by his mom, who openly says hurtful things like how he was a disappointment from the start or how she never got the daughter she wanted. Despite this, instead of going no contact with her, Henry has been trying very hard to win her love. Henry had a long-term ex, female 32, who is very close with his mother. She became the daughter his mother always wanted. However, this ex cheated on him with a coworker and left him. After 2 years, Henry and I met. Eventually, the ex wanted to get back together with him, but he said no and blocked her. Despite this, she and his mother remained best friends. His mother still invites her to family functions, and my fiance and I just ignore her. His mother does not like me and believes I'm the reason she can't have her preferred daughter-in-law. My fiance has explained many times that he would rather stay single forever than get back with his wife. So even if I didn't exist, he wouldn't be with her. Yesterday, my mother-in-law asked how many guests she could invite to our wedding. I told her that since my parents could invite 8 to 10 people, she could do the same. Well, that's gracious. She thanked me, but an hour later, she smiled and said, "Well, we have one yes already," referring to my fiance's ex. I told her that was very inappropriate since we aren't even friends with her. She responded by saying that it's her guest list, and none of my business. Then she said I'm insecure because the ex is the whole package and that I'm just a rebound girl. Henry told his mom to stop and asked her to leave. Once she left, he asked if I could be the bigger person and let her have this, as he really wants his mom to be at the wedding. He suggested that if inviting his ex would keep his mom quiet, we should just ignore her. Am I the asshole for not wanting her there? P.S. We are mostly paying for the wedding ourselves with some help from my dad. Mother-in-law has not contributed. Update! I had a calm talk with Henry and explained how I feel disrespected by his mom's words and actions. While I can't control who she associates with, it is very disrespectful that she invites your ex to all the gatherings and that the two of them constantly pick on me. Henry acknowledged this, but said that's just how his mom is. I told him that it's best we cancel the wedding at this point because I want our wedding day to be happy, memorable, not one filled with drama and stress. I added that his mom is going to ruin this day and that he's just going to accept it as usual, which I cannot tolerate. I told him I won't marry him until he sets some boundaries with his mother. This situation is ridiculous. Henry went on about how he can't cut his mom out of his life because she sacrificed so much raising him and his brother as a single mom, but he admitted he doesn't know how to handle her either. I told him I can't make that decision for him, but I'm going no contact with his mom. I suggested that maybe therapy could help him realize how abusive and toxic his relationship with his family is and help him decide what to do with his life. I also said I won't attend any more gatherings. He went quiet for a while, then he called his mom on speakerphone to tell her that the wedding was canceled. She went on and on, saying he finally did the right thing by dumping that whiny bitch, calling me insecure and controlling and saying it was a miserable relationship. Henry kept interrupting her, saying, "Mom, stop!" But she didn't care. In the end, he told her, "Mom, we're not breaking up. She's here and heard everything. She canceled it, not me, because you kept disrespecting her." His mom screamed, "That manipulative little bitch set me up! That fussy little and started ranting again. Henry then told her that he needs some time to think, and it's best if she gives him some space, then hangs up. We've barely talked since. He's spending today helping his brother with some renovations, and I'm home alone. Hopefully my next update will be less depressing. Okay, let's dive in to the second update here. Ready? It's 6 a.m. and I've been crying all night. Sorry for any typos. He broke up with me. He ignored all my texts yesterday, and it was late when I finally texted his brother to ask if he was okay. His brother said, yeah, he left 2 hours ago to give his ex a ride and then come home. I asked his ex was there, but he didn't reply. When he finally came home, he told me to sit down because we needed to talk. He said, I've thought about our relationship, thought about our situation, and I think we should end it. He said, today I hung out with my family, and even his mom and ex came over. They all told me that by going no contact with his mom, it was going to be so awkward and that they'd be stuck in the middle. He said, when you weren't there today, I enjoyed my time with my family. There was no tension, and I didn't have to worry about you being upset. I asked him, why did it take you 2 hours to drop off your ex? Did you sleep with her? He told me I was being ridiculous and that he was just talking to her. He accused me of being controlling and insecure and said I'm isolating him from his friends and family. I asked him again, so nothing happened? He danced around it, but eventually admitted, we fooled around, but that's it. I told him I couldn't believe what a pathetic, weak man he is, letting his mom convince him to ruin everything. And next, he's getting a blowjob from his cheating ex. We ended up arguing and he went to sleep. I cried all night. Today, I'm going to call my dad and ask if I can stay with him.
That's Destiny, and she said when she was at the altar about to say I do, and when the person officiating their wedding says, does anybody have any objections, her fiance's best friend got up and said, Josiah, don't do it. Don't marry her. Please don't do this. You know I love you. And Destiny's cousins turn around and say, love? So Josiah and Destiny have been together for 4 years, including their engagement. And during this whole time, the best friend would come around, especially during like football Sundays and stuff like that, when Destiny would cook. And she never like thought much of her, but she didn't really like her either. She tolerated her because that was her man's best friend. And so when Josiah asked, like, hey, can she come to our wedding? She was just like, I don't know. And it was early in the planning of the wedding, so she just kind of put it to the side. And during one of those football Sundays, the best friend walks up to her and she's like, hey, I was just wondering, like, I know you're finalizing the guest list. Like, is there any way that I'm going to be invited to this wedding? And Destiny just kind of looks at the girl and is just like, I don't know, and just walks over to her cousins. It's about 2 months later, and the fiance asks again, can she come to the wedding, please? And she's just asking, like, why do you want her to come? You know she's in love with you. And he's like, what are you talking about? No, she's not. She's not in love with me. She's like, okay, whatever. Like, I know what I know, but go ahead, invite her. It's fine. And he's like, can she have a +1? She wants to bring her baby daddy. She's like, that's fine. Let her do it. As the wedding kept getting closer, Destiny started to notice that the best friend was calling the fiance more and more. And she's crying to him about how, you know, the situation with her baby daddy has become a little bit more violent. And he's just consoling her. But Destiny's like, I feel like she leans on you too much. Like, you're my fiance. Like, where's her brothers? Where's her family? Like, where are the people that are supposed to be there for her, you know? Destiny's busy planning the wedding, and she happens to see a message in Josiah's phone one day, and it's a message from the best friend saying, like, I can't believe you proposed to her. I can't believe you're getting married. I know I'm your best friend, but I thought what we had was, like, you know, gonna show you that, like, I can be more. We could be more. She's like, I'm just so sad. But Destiny doesn't see any replies from the fiance back to the best friend. So she goes into the recently deleted files and she recovers all of the messages. And now the thread, you know, is completed. And she sees that Josiah is like, what we had was fleeting. It was very short. Like, I always told you I was going to marry Destiny. I always told you that I loved her. The best friend's like, you let me be with this man. Like, you take care of me so much better than he does. You, like, see my feelings. You make me feel seen. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, you don't see what I see. Like, we should be together. And he's just like, I told you I'm going to marry Destiny. Like, we can't do this. Like, we're done. We're over with. He said what we had was a lapse in judgment. He's like, I don't know why you're acting like this now. You're not coming to the wedding. You're uninvited. Now, mind you, she saw all these messages in his phone right before they were both leaving for their bachelorette parties and bachelor parties. And she decided she wasn't going to say anything because she felt like he stood on business. He was loyal. He told the lady, like, back off, like, I'm getting married, you know? So one night she's at the bachelorette party and she's with her family and her friends, and she does the, like, put the finger down if you know, kind of game, and blurts out this whole thing about, like, how she found out her fiance and the best friend and all of this. Some of her family members are like, leave him. The other ones are like, I understand, this is really difficult. And other ones are like, get your lick back. So one day in marriage counseling, she brings it up and is like, I need you to tell me about these text messages and what happened and why you were just, like, not honest with me and telling me when it first happened. And he's just, like, shocked. He just, like, starts crying and he's like, I didn't know you were ever going to find out. Like, I never wanted this to happen. He's like, I uninvited her. I blocked her. Like, I don't know why she did all this. Destiny asked if it was an affair. He's like, absolutely not. He just said that he noticed that as the wedding was getting closer, that the best friend was drawing closer to him as well, and he thought that was weird. And she's like, I told you this. I told you that I knew she was in love with you, and you acted like I was crazy. He's like, I've gone no contact. I've blocked her. I haven't spoken to her. He's like, I didn't want to tell you because you're stressed out with the wedding, and I just didn't want to ruin things. Fast forward, it's a week before the wedding, and he's getting, like, spam emails, constant phone calls. He's getting blown up, and she's just like, who is this? Like, you need to, whoever this is, whatever this is, you need to, like, wrap it up. We're walking down the aisle in a week. And he's like, I don't know who this is. Like, I don't know who's calling me. So one day his phone is getting blown up, and she just picks it up. Destiny's like, hello? And the girl's like, I just need to talk to him. And she's like, you don't need to talk to anybody. She's like, you need to stop calling my man. You need to stop contacting him. Stop all of this. She's like, I've always been here. I've been here before you've been around. At this point, Josiah walks in and he's like, you picked up my phone. She mutes it and she's like, shut up. Sit down and shut up. The girl just starts spilling. She's like, I've always supported you guys. I prayed for you guys. Like, I wanted you guys to always have happiness. She's like, it always made me sad when he would tell me he wasn't very happy with you. So at this point, Destiny's like, oh, you pillow talking to her? Okay. Hangs up with him and just starts dealing with him now. He's like, I'm going to change my number. I already told you it's over with her. She's like, how am I going to marry you when you have a whole woman that has an emotional attachment to you, that is invested in you? How am I supposed to walk down the aisle? Like, this is very messy. At this point, Destiny's like crying, but she's mad. And she's just like, my heart and my mind are battling. Like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? We're supposed to get married in a week. So at this point, she is not getting married to him. She's like, I'm betrayed. Like, you are playing in my face, and decides, like, she is going to walk down the aisle, but she's just going to say no. So she tells her bridesmaids, her cousins, her brother who's walking her down the aisle, like, we're not going through with this, but we're going through with this, you know? So back to them being at the altar. At this point, before anybody can even say I do or anything like that, at the objection portion, the best friend has bursted in. She is yelling, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you're moving through with this. The bridesmaids are putting their hair in a ponytail. The cousins are getting up. Somebody grabs the girl as she's walking down the aisle, pulls her down, yanks her down. The cousins start jumping her. Destiny turns around, looks at her fiance and starts beating him with her bouquet flowers until all the flowers are gone. Then she turns around to everybody and says, just so you guys know, there is no wedding that is happening. This man is sleeping with his best friend, that woman right there. And yeah, it's over. Pandemonium breaks out. Everybody's fighting everybody, hair snatching. It's just absolute chaos. At this point, the venue is like on the phone with the cops, like, you guys need to get down here. The best friend's on the floor getting her ass beat. Wig pulled off. She's trying to run off. Josiah's nowhere to be found. Before this, while she's beating him with the flowers, his mother tries to get up and get involved. Her mother gets up, pushes his mother out the way. Destiny says she can't even really move because the dress is so tight. She's like doing what she can with her bouquet. She get back to the suite. She changes. 30 minutes later, she walks out and she sees the best friend is trying to chase down Josiah and talk to him. And so before she says anything to any of her cousins, she just starts running up to the girl and she hear people yelling from her car, Ryan, turn around, Ryan, turn around. And she already up on Ryan and she grabbed that girl and she just starts beating her. And she's yelling back to Josiah, like, Josiah, you're not going to tell her? You're not going to tell her what's up between us? Like, you're not going to tell her? You're not going to tell her? Every time she said it, Josiah, Destiny hitting her in the mouth. So at this point, a bunch of people have surrounded them. The cops have arrived. Destiny's in handcuffs. She gets taken off to jail. Nobody really knows she's gone besides her cousin and her aunties. And so they are trying to get her bailed out. Guess who bails her out? Josiah. She walks out of the jail cell and there he is. And she's just like, I don't know why you did that because, like, we're done for. We're over. There's nothing to talk about. Her phone on 2%. She's trying to walk away, goes back into the jail, charges her phone, calls her family. They pull up. Before this, she's arguing back and forth with Josiah, telling him, like, there's nothing for us to speak about. Like, I'm deaf. I can't even hear you. Like, I don't even know what you're saying. She's, like, using ASL to just, like, speak to him. And he's like, what are you saying? I don't know what that means. And she's ASLing to him, be fucking for real. This whole time, his phone is blowing up. She can see the flashes going off. And she's like, who's calling you? Is that Ryan? Who's calling you? Like, go tend to somebody that actually wants you because nobody wants you over here. Her cousins come and pick her up. She has girl cousins and boy cousins that come. They go back to the house. Josiah is following them. He tries to go back inside. They tell him, bro, thank you for bailing her out, but you got to go. Like, there's nothing for you here. So they go inside, and 4 a.m. in the morning, they get a knock on the door, and the cops are saying the owner of this house said that there's people trespassing, and he needs them to get escorted out, and he needs to be let into the premise. And she's like, that man's homeless. I don't know what he told you, but that man's homeless. Josiah's crying to the cops. They come back, like, can you just grab a bag? And so they put the cousins in the garage. He goes upstairs, gets a bag, and goes up and down like 5 times. Each time he's trying to talk to Destiny. She's telling him, like, I can't hear you. Like, I'm dead. And so he grabs his things. He leaves. So Josiah's, this whole time trying to contact her, trying to apologize. She's not having it. She's just watching her comfort show. And she gets a message from somebody, unknown number. She tries to even put it into Cash App. She doesn't know whose number it is, saying, like, Josiah was in on all of it. And she asks for more information, and basically finds out that Josiah and the best friend Ryan actually planned to ruin their wedding. And that they were actually dating for over a year. 6 months into it, it got rocky. That's when she kind of lost it and was admitted into a 5150. So when he blocked her, she was admitted. She's confused, like, why would Josiah be in on this? And she takes him off the block list. He calls her. She picks up, and she's like, I need answers. Answer them quickly. Don't say anything else. She's like, did you date this lady for a year and have an affair on me during our engagement? Did you plan to ruin our wedding? She shows him the number that's been texting her, and he's like, I don't know who that is. At this point, he's playing dumb. He's like, I don't know what they're talking about. He's like, I wasn't having an affair. Like, where's the proof? Show the receipts. She's like, so tell me how this all happened. Like, how did you guys even come about? And he tells her how, like, during Halloween when she went away to visit her family, that's when he was at a party with her. And basically one thing led to another, and they slept together multiple times that night and the following morning. So on Halloween, you were cheating on me, kissing someone else, hooking up with someone else. And then a few weeks later on Thanksgiving, you proposed to me? He was like, we were in a rocky place. Her and her baby daddy were in a rocky place. It just was like a perfect storm with the alcohol involved. Like, it just happened. He's like, I woke up and told her, like, we should have never done this. Like, I'm going to propose to Destiny. And she was like, I'm so happy for you guys. Like, I'm going to pray for you. He's like, when I blocked her, she basically lost it and, like, started showing up at my job, blowing up my phone from multiple different numbers. And she ended up getting admitted. And then when she was at the facility, she needed an emergency contact number. And she put my number down. And she's telling them, like, call Josiah, call Josiah. And when they called me, they told me, like, a 5150 is not going to be long enough. We're going to keep her for a 5250 instead. And she's like, what did you say to that? And he's like, well, I don't know. She's like, okay, so knowing all of this, why did you ask me to invite her to the wedding? And he's like, well, she threatened me. She said that if I wasn't invited to the wedding, I'm going to tell your fiance about everything. And so I didn't want you to be hurt. I didn't want you to know about this. So I got her invited to the wedding. He's like, I was so in disbelief when you said that she could come. Like, I thought you were going to say no. He's like, and then she started talking about being pregnant. And I was like, there's no way she can be pregnant because I used a condom. She's like, did you plan to ruin our wedding day with her? Was that your, like, did you guys actually have that conversation? He's like, yeah, we did. I needed to do that so that she would, like, not blow up our spot and, like, come and tell you. Like, I was never going to do it. Why would I, ruin our wedding that we're planning? And I only did it to, like, keep her, like, calm and relaxed and just think that I'm playing along, but I was never going to do it. She gets off the phone with him, eventually gets a message, and it's a picture of Ryan holding a pregnancy test, smiling. And she doesn't even say anything to that girl. She just immediately sends that picture to Josiah. He's like, man, that photo's old. Like, I already told you, like, that photo's old. There's no way that's my baby. She didn't even know if it was my baby or her baby daddy's baby. So she wanted me to go with her to go get an abortion, so I did. But, like, she got an abortion. Like, we never had a baby together. She's like, you said this happened once. Clearly it didn't just happen once. And he's like, remember that time that we broke up for a week? Like, we hooked up then too. She's like, you got this girl pregnant in a week? The 1 week that we broke up? Like, she's like, how did you get this girl the way she is too? Like, how did you get her to agree to an abortion? He's like, I don't know, man. I just said a bunch of things and just, like, got her to agree. At this point, she's so mad. She in her own version of waiting to exhale, and she went and bleached all of his clothes and told him, like, well, I bleached all your clothes, so if you want it, you can come get it, but you're homeless and your clothes are ruined. You probably don't even want them. He said, man, I'll come get them on Saturday. And the whole week he blowing her up. She can care less. Saturday comes around. He don't show up. She's like, whatever. Moves on with her life. Goes into therapy. 2 months later, she's out with her man at that point. She's dating somebody else. And he calls her and is like blowing up her phone. And the boyfriend's like, who is that? And she's like, I don't know, maybe my baby daddy. Eventually, the boyfriend's like, yo, you're playing my face. Like, this phone keeps going off. Just pick it up already. So she picks up, and he's like, it's Josiah. And she wanted to hang up, but she didn't because that would have been weird. And she's like, what? And he's like, yo, let me come get my stuff. And she's like, well, I'm only free on Wednesday. You said you were going to come last time. You didn't, so you're coming on my time, and my time is Wednesday. And he's like, all right, man, I'll make it work. I'll come. She's like, the stuff will be on the porch, 2 to 4, like you said in the email. There's nothing to talk about. She goes to put the stuff out there at like 1:30. He's coming up the driveway and immediately starts saying, like, I need to talk to you before you heard it from anybody else, but like me and Ryan are getting engaged. And she just looked at him like, what am I supposed to do with this information? Turns around and goes right back into her house and is like, I can't wait to tell my cousins about this. So he told her they're getting married in February. They get married in April. And then she sees on Facebook that there's going to be an annulment with Ryan and Josiah in October. So she's like, let me be nosy, gets her cousin's password to Facebook, goes in there and sees that Ryan posted saying, like, I can't believe this man is having a baby on me with somebody else, da-da-da-da. So she goes down the rabbit hole and ends up finding the girl, finding the grandmother's page, finding the photos from the baby shower, sees that Josiah had a baby with Ryan's cousin, her own cousin. And everybody's in the comments like, I can't believe you did this. Basically trying to come for the girl Leah, now who's the girl pregnant with Josiah's child. They're coming in her comments like, I can't believe this, you did this to your cousin, like, you're so messy, you were pregnant during the bachelorette party, that's why you weren't drinking, you were in her wedding knowing you were pregnant with her husband's child, like, you're such a bad person. And then, Destiny's just sitting there just eating it up, just laughing like, I can't believe this is happening. Everyone is like in the grandmother's comment section saying, you're messy for posting this baby shower photo knowing that she stole her cousin's husband. Like, why would you do this? And it's just like a whole thing. And Destiny's sitting there like, karma's a real thing. And then Leah comments, she enters the chat and says, oh, she must have not told you guys. I got pregnant because me, Ryan, and Josiah had a threesome. So Destiny's like, this is absolutely insane.
My sister-in-law tried to hijack my son's birthday party for her gender reveal. My husband and I have 2 children, both boys, now age 11 and 14. My husband's younger sister now has 3 children, age 7, female, 5 male, and 3 male. The year my youngest son was turning 4, he asked for a birthday party. He was not in school, and so he did not know anyone but family, and there were no children other than his brother that were able to attend. Luckily, his favorite people in the world are Grandpa and Grandma, Dad's parents. Grandma is like a big kid. She's super fun and energetic. She acts much like a kid herself and my boys adore her. I knew they were very busy, so I asked them several months in advance if they would be able to attend his birthday party. The party was to be on his birthday. This is important. Being the wonderful grandparents they are, they agreed and requested that time off from their jobs. We also invited all close by family, including my sister-in-law, the entitled mother of the story. Months go by and it's now about a week and a half before my son's big day. I bought the decorations, planned the menu, and pumped him up. I like to sing a final countdown song as I prepare breakfast in the morning. One afternoon, I received a call from my sister-in-law who was about to find out the sex of her baby. She's pregnant with baby number 1. She wants to plan a gender reveal party, but she's called her friends and family and discovered that most work and can't attend without several weeks' notice from their jobs. The only day everyone just so happens to have off is my son's birthday. Would I be willing to move my son's birthday party to another day so she can have her party? At this point, it may bear mentioning that she already has 3 baby showers planned out and has asked me to make the food out of pocket for one of the showers. Most people being asked to attend her gender reveal party were already attending multiple baby showers for her. I am pretty friendly and passive. This caught me very off guard. I tried to gently tell her that my son was looking forward to this and we've planned it for months, which is why everyone had it off from work. She feigns sympathy but still urged me to please move my son's birthday party to a time that everyone could later attend and let her have this open day for her party for her first baby while you've already had 2. Besides, my youngest son loves babies and would want to go to her party too. He could still come to my party and see everyone he loves and then get to do it all over again when everyone can request time off. I didn't have time to gather a response as she steamrolled over me saying, okay, if they want to go, I won't make them come to your son's party, but I can't go to your party. We have plans. And her responding, thanks. I was angry. She had pulled this kind of thing with other people before. I have tons of stories. But she had always really loved my boys and never tried this with me, or not to this extreme way. I didn't know how to react other than to vent to my husband, which is her brother, who wasn't surprised at all and said not to worry and that their dad would set her straight. Funny enough, I was talking to my husband when I saw him, father-in-law, calling the phone. I answered and he said that my sister-in-law had told him that I had no problem with her hijacking my son's birthday and that I had insisted she have the party and everyone go to that one instead of my son's. He said if this was true that they would attend her party, but he would way rather go to the party of my son. He'd already gotten presents and they were excited about celebrating a kid that's already here on his big day. I very happily told him that I was never going to cancel his birthday or make him sit through someone else's party on his big day. I mean, he's 4 and I've been counting down for him every morning. What kind of monster would I be? I said that I had told sister-in-law that people could go to that if they preferred, but that we wouldn't be attending. He said that sounds about right and told her he's going to my son's party since he requested time off for that, and if she wants another party another day to give him notice. Canceled or never really organized the party, and then talked about me behind my back to anyone that would listen for years to follow.
Am I the asshole for leaving my son's wedding after he denied his stepmom the mother-son dance?
Probably. Go on.
My son Jordan is 27. His stepmom, Natalie, came into his life when he was 16. His mom had passed away when he was 13, never really considered Natalie as his mom, and shut down every attempt to have a close relationship. He even moved in with his aunt months after Natalie and I got married. As years went by, they started reconciling and seeing each other more often. He invited us to his wedding, which took place days ago. We got there and the atmosphere was great, until later I found out that Jordan had denied Natalie a mother-son dance, instead chose his aunt to dance with him. Natalie told me this minutes later, and I couldn't help feel irritated and quite upset. I decided to get up and leave, and we both left. I got calls from my family after they saw me leave. Jordan called later and I told him why I did it. He got mad and said it was his wedding and that his aunt was basically a mother to him and that Natalie shouldn't expect special treatment. But it's not a special treatment, but a tradition. Besides, that he hurt her feelings for no reason other than for the sake of being malicious. He got offended and accused me of ruining his day and causing a scene. Now the family sided with him and said I shouldn't have left no matter what.